What happens when you love someone who can't exist? Nighttime is ours. Daylight will tear her apart. Rain-slicked streets reflected the dim glow of the streetlights. Lucas had always been drawn to quiet corners of the city, but tonight the shadows seemed alive. That's when he saw her. She was standing beneath a flickering lamp, pale as moonlight, hair like silver mist. "Hello?" Lucas called softly. She turned her eyes to him, midnight eyes that seemed to see through him. "You can see me?" Her voice was soft but carried an echo, as if coming from somewhere far away. I think so," Lucas stammered. "Are you lost?" "I am not really here," she said, stepping closer. "Not when the sun is awake, only at night." Lucas frowned. "What do you mean?" She whispered, almost a breath. "Touch me in the sunlight, and I begin to fade, slowly, painfully." Lucas's heart thumped. Why are you here then?" "Because I can't help it. I want to see you, to know what it's like to be." Days became nights. Nights became obsession. Her name, she told him, was Evelyn. They met in deserted parks, on rain-soaked rooftops, in alleyways that smelled of wet stone and decay. "Are you human?" Lucas asked one night, brushing damp hair from her pale forehead. "I was," she said softly, "but that was long ago. I live only in the dark now. The sunlight burns what remains of me." He reached out, touching her arm. She shivered violently, a sound like shattered glass. "Careful," she warned. "Every touch takes a piece of me." "I don't care," he said fiercely. "I'd rather watch you fade in my arms than never see you at all." Evelyn's eyes glistened with something like terror. "You don't understand. It's not just pain. The light eats me. If you ever hold me when the sun is up, I might never come back." As nights passed, Lucas became restless during the day, haunted by shadows that reminded him of her. Sometimes he'd catch glimpses of her in reflections, a silver figure at the corner of a window, or a whisper in the darkened subway tunnel. One night, in an abandoned church, Lucas finally asked, "Why me? Why appear to me?" Evelyn's hand hovered over his chest, her fingers trembling. "I think because you care. Others see shadows and look away. But you," her voice broke, "you look, you see, and that's dangerous for me." "Dangerous?" Lucas frowned. "Yes," she whispered. "I've been hiding from the living for so long, and now I want something I can't have. You." He pulled her close, feeling the cold seep into his bones. "Then let me have it, even if it kills you slowly." Her sob was like wind through a cracked door. "Lucas, the sun will come. It always does. And every day, a little more of me dies. Do you understand?" One morning, Lucas woke to find sunlight spilling across his bedroom floor. Panic surged as he realized Evelyn was still in the room, resting on the edge of his bed. "Evelyn, no!" He lunged to her side. Her form wavered, translucent at the edges, hair paling to ash. "Lucas, I couldn't wait. I thought maybe—" Her voice faltered. "I can't." He held her desperately. Her hand passed through his arm, sending a shiver of ice into his chest. You're You're disappearing." "I know," she whispered. "The sunlight, it's killing me. Every second, faster. Please, don't let me touch you in the day again." Tears streamed down his face as her shape thinned, features blurring. Her voice was faint, distant. I hope I can come back tonight." By evening, she was gone entirely, leaving only the memory of cold and the faint echo of her voice. Lucas sank to the floor, broken. But when night fell, he heard it again, a soft, distant whisper, promising a return. Days and nights began to blur. Lucas stopped sleeping. He wandered the streets at night, chasing shadows, hoping to catch glimpses of Evelyn. He became obsessed with the boundary between night and day, his life tethered to the rhythm of her fading existence. One night he whispered to the empty air, "I'll do anything to keep you here. Anything." A soft voice answered from the darkness, "Be careful, Lucas. The more you want me, the faster I vanish." And yet he couldn't stop. Each night when she appeared, she would cling to him, shivering, whispering, "Hold me, before I fade again." He would, and with each embrace, he felt the horror of loving a being that could never fully be his. The fear, the sorrow, the cold, they became as real to him as her presence. And in that cold, haunted city, Lucas and Evelyn existed in stolen hours, in a fragile love bound by darkness, forever aware that daylight was always coming. Lucas had begun to lose himself. His apartment was darkened completely, curtains drawn tight, the air thick with the smell of rain and old stone. He kept candles lit at night, their flames flickering shadows across walls that seemed alive with her presence. "Evelyn," he whispered, pacing, "there has to be a way. I can't keep losing you every morning. There has to be." She appeared, stepping from the shadows like liquid silver. Her form trembled. "Lucas, you can't. The more you try, the less I last. The more you hold me, the faster I fade." "I don't care," he shouted, voice cracking. "I will find a way. I can't live without you." Evelyn's eyes widened with a mixture of fear and sorrow. "Lucas, please don't." But he couldn't stop himself. He grabbed her, pressing her to him. That night, unlike any other, he ignored her protests. And the world began to shatter. The next morning, sunlight crept through a single crack in the curtains. Evelyn screamed, a sound that wasn't fully human, that echoed with anguish through the apartment. Her form began to splinter, pieces of her dissolving into smoke and mist. "No, I'll fix this," Lucas yelled, sighing to gather her fading form in his arms. But she was slipping through him like sand. "I told you, the light, it kills me," she cried, her voice breaking into shards of sound. Her eyes, wide with terror, locked onto his. "Lucas, you've taken too much." By noon, she was almost gone, leaving only a faint outline hovering over the floor. Lucas fell to his knees, sobbing, desperate to clutch the ghost of her, any fragment at all. "I'll bring you back. I'll find a way. I swear," he whispered. But the room was empty now. No silver hair, no midnight eyes, just the echo of her final, trembling whisper. "Some things are not meant to live in your world." Weeks passed, and Lucas became a ghost in his own life. He wandered the city at night, haunted by flickers of her form in shadows, reflections in rain-slicked windows, whispers carried on the wind. People stopped seeing him. He was always in the half-light, speaking to someone who wasn't there. Neighbors called him strange. Friends stopped visiting, but he didn't care. His obsession had consumed him. "Evelyn," he muttered in a dark alley, reaching toward a figure that vanished as he touched it. "Come back, please." And in the whispering darkness, sometimes, faintly, almost unbearably, he could hear her voice. "Lucas, I'm here, but I am not yours." It was a love that was real and impossible, a terror and a longing intertwined. Every embrace would have destroyed her. Every day in the sunlight would steal more of her, yet he could not stop reaching, and she, a being born of night, could only drift closer, then fade again, eternally caught between longing and oblivion. Lucas had scoured old libraries, whispered with occultists, and wandered forgotten catacombs beneath the city. He discovered a ritual, ancient and forbidden, said to bind a spirit to the mortal world. The price, it warned in faded script, was always dear. This will work," he muttered, setting candles in a perfect circle. The air smelled of wax, dust, and fear. "You'll be mine, fully, night and day. I'll never lose you again." Evelyn appeared, drifting into the circle like a ribbon of silver smoke. Her eyes were wide with horror.
"Lucas, no, you don't understand. This is dangerous. The spell, it could destroy me, or you." "I don't care," he said, gripping her ethereal hand. "I can't live without you. I won't spend another day watching you fade away." She tried to pull back, but his determination held her. "Lucas, if you do this, we will both pay, forever." But he began the incantation. Words burned in his throat as shadows coiled around the room. The circle of candles flared, casting monstrous shapes on the walls. Evelyn screamed, her voice a mix of human fear and otherworldly wail, vibrating the air itself. As the ritual reached its climax, Evelyn's form began to solidify, flesh and blood shimmering into being. For a moment, Lucas thought he had succeeded. She was real, warm, alive, and looking at him with eyes full of love and fear. But then, the horror began. Her skin burned where the magic touched her. Her eyes flared with blinding light. "Lucas, stop! Stop!" Her voice cracked like splintering wood. "You can't do this!" The candles exploded, and shadows rushed in like living things. The city seemed to howl. Lucas felt his own body twisting, burning, as the ritual fed on his life force as well as hers. "You wanted me to live," Evelyn gasped, trembling. "But at what cost?" Her body solidified, but warped. Her mouth stretched unnaturally, as if she were screaming underwater. Limbs shimmered with ghostly translucence in one moment, flesh in another, a terrifying limbo of living and dead. Lucas fell to his knees, clutching her, realizing too late. The ritual didn't free her from her nature. It tethered her, painfully, permanently. She existed now in both worlds, neither fully alive nor fully dead, and he was the anchor, the conduit, slowly draining him with every heartbeat. Days passed. Lucas became pale, gaunt, whispering to her constantly. Evelyn's body was a living nightmare, solid and spectral at once,
flickering violently between warmth and cold emptiness. She would scream in pain if touched too long, yet fade entirely if he let go. I wanted to save you, Lucas whispered through cracked lips, tears streaming. You did save me and kill me, Evelyn rasped, her form twisted, smoke curling from her eyes. We're trapped forever. And in the city's shadows, their horror echoed. A man and a ghost, bound together, a love that could not die, and a torment that would not end. Lucas had achieved his dream. Evelyn would never fade again, but at the cost of every shred of his humanity and her sanity. The streets at night were alive with their whispers, a love story turned into a living nightmare. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe for more. Comment your thoughts about the story. We could love to hear from you.